Are you planning on starting a garden for the first time for the 2023 growing season? If so, there are a few things that you need to consider, and I'm going to be going through some of these with you. I'm White Davy. Welcome to White Davy Garden and Worm Farm. So before I go into discussing what needs to be considered, let me share why I'm doing this video. For the past 12 years, I've been living in Saskatchewan, Canada, where our growing season is 3 months, and I had a garden that was roughly 600 square feet. But one of the challenges of Saskatchewan is that it is very cold, and we've had enough of the cold because temperatures can go down as low as -50. So we're tired of it, and so we decided to relocate to another province in Canada, BC. So we're in the city of Prince Rupert. Now this is where I'm living now, and the problem that I have is finding somewhere to put a garden. I left my garden that was over 600 square foot. The property was mine, or is mine, and now I'm in a rented facility, which means that I don't get to do as I please. I have to be very careful. So as I explain my situation, you will be getting the tips that you can use to start a garden. So the place is rather beautiful. It's very rainy though. Prince Rupert is rainy. And so I'm looking for options for my garden. Now, as I think about starting my garden, I have to think about areas that gets the most sun, especially in a region that is rainy, and sometimes you can have nice clear blue skies, other times you can have a lot of rain. So you want to choose the best option for your garden. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a rented property, which means I don't get to do as I please. So here, this is the south side of the property, and all these bushes and shrubs could be removed to put a greenhouse there. That is the north side of the property, and because of the lawn, I don't want to put a garden there because I don't want to destroy the lawn, and so I can't put a garden there. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, but as it is the winter season, and we just moved here 3 weeks ago, so now I have to be patient and wait for the fall to do my cleanup. Now, one of the things that you want to consider is sunshine when you're building your garden. So up against the house here is this space here that gets some amount of sunshine. It is about 20 inches wide, and I would say this section from here to where that little short broken wall is about 20 feet. Now this little area, I'm thinking of putting a part of my garden. It gets the most sunshine, but it's gonna need a lot of work to clean it up, because I see they had tree stumps in there, lots of things that needs to be removed. Now when you're starting a garden, you have to think about the base soil. So for me, I'm going to be adding soil to this, but then there are lots of undesirable things. For example, those creepy looking things, don't know what purpose they serve. You have to look for things that can prevent your garden from being organic if you want to grow an organic garden. So in my situation, where this is far less than being ideal, one of the things that I can do is take everything out, all the soil and debris that is in here, and start from scratch. Or I could just take out content down to 12 inches and put landscaping fabric at the bottom and then start with fresh soil. That would be the best option in this situation. Now here is another section. This is underneath the carport, and so it's the same situation for here, but this gets far less sunshine, which means that if I'm going to be growing the first section that I showed you, that is where I'd be putting things like peppers and tomatoes, cucumbers, anything that loves sun would have to go to that side. Now this piece here is about 20 feet again by 20 inches, so it's the same situation where I'm going to have to prepare the soil. And then over here we have about 4 feet by maybe, I'd say about 30 feet. So I'm going to have to, you can see broken glasses in there, stones, so many things that does not belong. So one of the things that you have to consider is the type of soil, what debris is in there, and how you're going to deal with that situation. So in here, I think rather than planting on this section in the soil, this gets some amount of sunshine too, but as you can see they have lots of shrubs, and those shrubs have no use to me. So instead of having to struggle with cleaning all of this up, I would just put raised beds in here. Now the next thing that you need to consider when you're starting a garden, do you have animals like deers, rabbits, and other animals that will terrorize your garden? In my yard, deers pass through every single day, and so in Prince Rupert, that is one of the biggest challenge that gardeners face, apart from the rain, is that deers are always decimating their crops. And so if you're going to build a garden, you need to consider the type of pest that that region is prone to and how you can prevent them from decimating your crop. So in my situation, I would have to build raised beds and then have them covered. Now the next option for a garden, don't mind the mess, as I mentioned we only got here 3 weeks ago. So the next option is this open area here, because the advantage of this is that, oh, there's a little cat running up there. It comes and visits us every day. Don't know where it belongs, but yes. So the next option is here I could put a greenhouse and some raised beds, but as it is rented property, the landlord would have to pay more taxes if I make a greenhouse that is more than 100 square feet. And this place here, this open space here, is about 500 square feet. Yeah, about 400 square feet. So I could put a greenhouse here, and then the rest of it would be raised beds. Now the challenge with this is that it gets a bit of sunlight, but as you can see, there's a tree there to the south, there are trees there to the east, and then there are trees here to the north. So the limbs of this one would have to go if I'm going to be putting up a greenhouse. That I cannot do anything to. Those I cannot do anything to those as well. So anything that I'm growing in these greenhouses would have to be this little guy is here rubbing himself on me, look at it. Yeah, so anything that I'm putting in that greenhouse would have to be something that loves cool weather and does not require a lot of sunlight. So that is my option for this here. So all my brassicas and other cool weather crops could go in this region, and then I could reserve this section, this 4-foot section, and the other section that I showed you previously for my heat loving plants. Another challenge with growing in Prince Rupert is that temperatures are usually around 15 degrees Celsius, That is standard temperature for the high, and sometimes it may go up to 20, but it is fairly cool in this region, so that can pose another challenge. So in which case, if you are in regions that tends to be cooler rather than warm, then you want to use greenhouses so that you can have the extra heat. And if you're in areas that are hot, then you want to use shade cloth. Now if you're building raised beds and you are going to be covering them to prevent pests and for weather condition purposes, consider the height of what you're growing when you're creating the covers for those raised beds, because the height of the plants that you want to grow is going to determine how high you make the covers for those beds. Now I'm going to take you around to the back of the yard to show you what other option I am considering. Now for the ones that I just showed you, it does not require, I do not require permission really for those. Well, maybe for the greenhouse, but as I'm not affecting the property, then it should be fine. But the guy is following me around, having so much fun. Yes, it's a bit mucky because of the rain, so here I would definitely have to do something about it, probably some gravel and all. And I can see lots of deer tracks. Okay, so this is the backyard, and looking at my options, these shrubs, I'm gonna see if I can get permission to get rid of them. From what I am told, Prince Rupert is prone to rats and mice, so I'd like to get rid of them because they are so close to the house. I wouldn't want to encourage those things to get in my house, so I'm going to seek permission to get rid of them. In which case, this little area, because there's a concrete section here and then that little area there, if I get permission to remove those shrubs, I could put a lot of raised beds that are covered. So much work to get this place clean. Anyway, now that is the south side, and all these shrubs need to go. So I'm going to, we already got permission to remove those shrubs because they're blocking our view of the sea from inside the house. So I like this property. It sits on 1 acre of land, and we have the sea in our backyard, so it is quite nice. But unfortunately we can't swim down there because it is so deep. The ships usually come and turn around here. That's how deep it is. I still haven't been down there yet. But anyway, not to stray from the point, over here this tree is hanging over into the yard. It's not our tree, or it is in the fence line, and this area gets the most sun out of all the regions in the yard. So I'm thinking I could get permission to cut the limbs that are hanging over and possibly put a greenhouse here. So you have to consider the sunshine again, and when you're building greenhouse, you want to put it to the north of your property. When you're planting trees, those, the taller the tree, the trees grow, the more north of your properties you want to put it, because the sun will come from the east, south and west. The northern side of your property is where most of the sunshine will be, and so you have to take that into consideration. So the taller plants that you grow them to the north, the furthest north of your property, and the shorter ones more to the south of your properties. And that way all your plants can get enough sunlight. That cat is just having a field day. Okay, yes, so these are some of the things that you need to consider. So again, the direction that the sun that gets the most sunshine arranging your plants in terms of height to ensure that the taller plants are not blocking the sun from the lower plants. You need to consider animals that may be a problem for your garden. You need to consider whether you're going to be growing in greenhouse, temperature in the region that you live. Thankfully here in Prince Rupert the temperature does not fluctuate much, and so on rare occasion temperatures will go below 5 degrees Celsius, but sometimes it goes down to -10. But yes, these are some of the things that you can consider when you are thinking of starting a garden. So I wish you all the best with your gardening. It's going to be interesting to see what my outcome is going to be. Another thing that I was considering, because we have a steady but steep slope right here, so where the color of the grass changed because the landlord did not cut that section. The slope is so nice or so steep that I could actually put a greenhouse there without blocking the view of the sea from the house. So it would be the top of the greenhouse would be here and make it level going that way, and then just go down with the walls. Yes, so that is another option for my greenhouse, but we will see. I will keep you posted as to what I decide to do. Hello little kitty. I don't know where you're from, but would you like to say bye to my audience? He's just circling around me. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you find it beneficial. If you want to get more informative videos like these, or if you'd like to see the progress of what I decide to do with my garden, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, do not be afraid to leave your comments in the section below. So thank you for watching and have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah man, a time for grow.